feels good to say this after a little layoff, but welcome to the most overrated, underappreciated, most viewed, and underviewed podcast of all time. Welcome to the Prince of Fresh Air. I am, of course, if you don't know, now you know, the most charismatic man. I am back. We are live, New York City. We almost got flooded out this past Friday, but I made it out. Mother Nature couldn't take out the most charismatic man. We all know that. Busy morning. Looking forward to this conversation with Rich returning. And, before I bring him on, I got to say something, because Denzel Washington sent me an email this morning. He says, hey, Percy, my agent told me that you're going to take a role from me later this year. And I told him, hey, Denzel, out with the old and with the new. I'm just kidding. Shout out to Denzel, though, amazing guy. But I am looking forward to talking to Rich again. Always a fun guy, always a personality. He has his own podcast. Everybody kind of already know who he is at this point. But anyway, let's bring on Rich. Mr. Rich Dow, how you doing, man?
I'm good. So, I was in the neighborhood because I was stopping by your girl's house, and I figured, I threw her a bone, so I'd throw you a bone too coming on here. So
that's fair. You're off. I'm off. My girlfriend's clothes is off. Well,
I was gonna say she's off a few times already. So I appreciate it, man. Thanks for reaching out. It's always exciting to kind of hear and see your name pop up. Like, oh, I gotta give this guy money again. Jesus. But after we get past that part, it's always we got a good chemistry and it was good, man. And anyone that hasn't really heard none of our kind of correspondence and dialogue, I owe a lot of my success to this fella because he is the one that pushed me into going into video. And every time I come across him, I just gotta thank him up and down because smartest move I've made.
I'll put on your tab. So your tab right now, when inflation is about 15 grand, we'll talk about that. But at the end of the day, for me, it's about helping each other. We live in a society now where everybody just wants to help each other. I
was gonna say, are you sure? What utopia are you living in?
Well, I'm in the entertainment industry, so I already know what time it is. But yeah, at the end of the day, like I said, it's always about helping other people, especially people who I know are very passionate in what they do, and I know you are as well. So, like I said, 15 grand I expected by the end of the business day of Friday, and then we'll proceed.
I'll write you an IOU, and I'll leave it on your woman's little. I was gonna say her desk, but I'll just leave it on her chin. Listen, all right, let's go forward.
See, I was gonna use it as a tax write-off, but not. I'm reporting you to IRS now.
Hey, that's fine. Whatever.
Now, Rich.
Yes.
We got a lot of stuff we want to talk about.
Yes.
I know a lot of kids are watching, a lot of sports fans are watching. We're going to talk about
God,
sports.
I hope no kids are watching. Good God.
Hey, well, we got good-looking hair like me, very good-looking like myself, Everybody's coming to watch, not that type of show, people, just not late night on Showtime, but,
Yeah,
Rich.
There needs to be like a disclaimer for me. It's like, yeah, this guy may say some things that may have some questions pop up when you're driving down to the,
Yeah.
What's leaving on his chin, Mom?
Imagine listening to this podcast while you're on a business call and your boss walks in or something. I don't hold any responsibility for Rich. I have no idea. I don't know this man. I think he's an imposter. But anyway, let's get into it.
Let's get into it. All right.
We I know that people want to hear this conversation. So we was talking back and forth about, sports. I'm more into combat. I do watch NHL, New York Islanders fan, Tampa Bay Capitals, all that good stuff. And I know you like hockey. So one of the things I want to talk about outside of combat sports before we get to that is hockey. Hockey, has been one of those sports lately that's been getting a lot of attention. Some negative, some positive. But the first thing I want to talk about is the fighting, right? Because, in recent times we've been seeing a lot of news articles and media calling out fighting hockey players going one-on-one on the ice. How do you feel about that? Because I know, like I said, you're a hockey fan. You probably Sidney Crosby fan. I would assume
My dog's name is Crosby. So
really?
yeah.
What a shame. But anyway, it's not. No, I like Sidney Crosby. He's pretty good. I wonder, what is he, like 38 now?
37, 38. Yeah, he got some gray hairs now. It's weird. I saw a picture of him this offseason. I was like, oh God, how do I feel? I feel real old now. This man got gray hair and I got no hair.
Wow. Yeah. I want the old in with the new, like I said. But
yep.
No, yeah, but yeah, on the topic of hockey, like I said, what do you think about fighting in hockey? Because some people love it, some people hate it. What do you think?
So I am 37 years old, and I have been watching hockey since from at least when I can remember, about 10. So I am 27 years in, and anyone that is a hockey fan that either follows Pittsburgh or is from Pittsburgh or what have you realizes that Philly is we will choke you. We hate Philly. It is one of the actual real good rivalries in sports. Before, and I went 20 years back, and I'll bring up a stat later, but it was a way of policing the game. A lot of people in America do not really watch hockey, don't really understand hockey. It's not really the top. It's like number 4 in regards to the major sports. So you almost expected a fight when Pittsburgh went against Philly, or you had these dire rivals. And I thought it was always, hey, it wasn't a fight to fight. Someone took a cheap shot. Someone hit the rookie. Things like that. You got your fourth line bangers out there. They're like, hey, you feeling froggy? And it was a way to police the game. Or I think in certain instances, there were players that just did it to entice the fans to get that exciting moment. You're down by 4 goals. Your team is flat. You go out there, you get a scrap, and then what ends up happening, you score a few goals, you're back in the game. So I've had no problem with it. I'd say the referees are very, very good about how they police the fight. They're not going to let you get your head face washed into the ice. They're not going to let you really get hurt. But it's a fight. I mean, there's always dangers. You can always, let's be honest, you are on literal skates. You slip, you fall, you lose your balance, you crack your head on the ice. Well, now you really like pudding now. So, that's one of those things where I've never had a problem with it. I think the outsider point of view of it is it's a barbaric kind of, gladiatorial thing where how can they let them do that? They don't let them fight in any other sport, which is absolutely true. That is absolutely true. But this has always been a part of the game, and it always should be a part of the game. The little stat, and I'm not going to delve too deep into it, but fights have progressively gone down in the last 20 years, significantly. From, I believe it was about 1,500 in 2000 of that year, down to about 300 last year. Now, what's interesting is the attendance has gone up about 4 million across the league in that 20-year time. So I actually thought that it was going to go down, but goals per game have gone up. And that is actually what is exciting, because there's young blood in the game now. There's exciting, just like, oh my God, like generational players that get you out of your seat. It's not the fights anymore. I think that, along with them taking a lot of the violence out of the game, which I don't know, I kind of liked that guy may have almost died. I mean, not that degree, but you know what I mean? Like it was that physicality. It was that sport that like, oh, this is like rugby on ice. So I missed that part, but I also understand player safety is important because you want these players to keep playing. You want them to keep putting asses in seats. That's what the owners want. That's what the players want. That's what the fans want. You know, you get one scrap, you hit the one guy, he cracks his skull on the ice. Well, guess what? Now that player that was supposed to be this, upper echelon person now isn't that person anymore. So, long answer to a short question. I think it is a necessity in the game. I think it polices the game. I think it allows the players to police the game. It doesn't necessarily put the onus on the refs. It allows you as a player to handle your team's business if need be. I don't think there's those straight up scrappers anymore that oh god, he's going to get on the ice and nothing's going to happen except he's going to drop his gloves. No, there isn't really those people anymore.
Yeah. I didn't grow up watching hockey, 30, 40 years ago. I do know watching some of the highlights, though. Like, yeah, some of those guys were only known as what they call them hockey enforcers.
Enforcers, yeah. Goons, yeah.
And, I think times has changed. And I think now with the rise of combat sports, boxing, UFC, celebrity boxing, people are now finding they don't need to watch that in sports outside of that, because if you want, you could go watch a UFC pay-per-view or, event on Saturday.
That's a good point, man. That's a really good point.
Yeah. And I think there's always going to be some core members of the fan base who are going to enjoy the watching because it's something that takes away and it brings the energy in. Because I know when I watch hockey games with buddies and the fight breaks out, everybody, oh yeah, he's going to get knocked out. He's going to hit him with the jab or whatever. And I think for some people, it's that excitement of breaking up the action and letting people handle it one-on-one. Because oftentimes, I will say NBA is a flagrant one with this, but there's some people in the NHL who plays very dirty, and like you said, it's gotten better. But there's some people, over the last few years, I'm blanking on some of the names, but there's some people who are known for dirty plays, hitting people.
The Kachuk boys, the Kachucks are pretty big about that. But you go kind of in historical kind of past, you get like Ty Domi, he. Mm-hmm. I mean, Marty McSorley, just literally names that you're like, yeah, you seem greasy. Like you just sound like you're like you just don't care. But yeah, it's fewer, but that's such a great point because you almost wonder there was like that bloodlust, right? And you wondered like where else are you going to get that other than boxing? But boxing is basically dancing now. But where were you getting that blood? You weren't. So you're like, what major sport actually fights? Oh, hockey? Okay, and they do it a lot. Let's go. So that's a great point, man. I'd never thought of that.
It's a point that I was thinking about it, when I brought the subject up to you, because I was thinking, I was saying, why do people not really clamor to see it as much? And then you realize, well, because I watch UFC, there's usually a pay-per-view or an event every Saturday.
Right.
So if you get that fix from watching those fights, you don't really have don't get me wrong, if a fight breaks out in the NHL, I'm sure you might still pop for it, but you're not really going into it like, yeah, I need to see someone throw the gloves down. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I think, too, I'm all about watching guys, especially, like I said, the flagrant offenders who constantly go out there and attack people with a 2-minute penalty. I mean, come on, they're going to come out and do it again, 10 minutes later. So allowing those men to go out there and handle business per se, I think that is like the American, traditional American way. A lot of people like that. Oh, you want to cross check me? All right, let's throw the gloves down. Let's handle this like men. I think that principle is still going to be there. But I think now with player safety, I don't think anybody's gotten severely hurt. But, you're taking unprotected blows to the head. It's not the UFC where they're trained and they know that's going to happen. You're hitting your head on the ice, if you get knocked out. Player safety, now with the rise of combat sports being much more popular. Back then, boxing was only every couple months, and now you got to fight almost every Saturday. So I think that too has made it so where fighting is a necessity now. But I don't think it's going to go away. I mean, I think that's always going to be there. I don't see any time the NHL abandoning it. Do you think they will ever will, or do you think they'll keep it in?
You can't. I mean, it's like taking tackling out of football, right? I think partially why it never will go away, and this is, I mean, maybe it's a caveat. Maybe if you're a casual and you don't really catch all this stuff, then fine. But there's a player's code. After a fight, like after you go down, the guy ain't hitting you no more. He's not going to hit you anymore. And if it's one of those scraps that never really goes to the ground, it's a lot of tossing and turning and kind of just, wrestling around. You'll kind of occasionally notice a little pat on the keister, like, hey, you can't hear what they're saying, but it's essentially like, hey, good scrap, let's keep it clean now, boys. And it's almost wholesome. Like, I've never really said a fight could be wholesome, but it's almost like a wholesome thing. Back in the day, I mean, there were, you could almost have like theme music when they come on the ice, because you're like, all right, well, we know what's about to happen here. Let's just get the scrap over with so we can keep it moving. Now it's one of those things. Hey, you hit the rookie, real hard. Didn't need to do that. I need to go ahead and put you in your place. We all squared now. We got it out of our system after the fight. We're good. So yeah. So I don't think, how are you, let's put it this way. How do you stop it? Do suspensions? Well, then you have to work backwards, because then it's like, okay, now we have to now do suspensions, which they do for egregious hits, but things that potentially could lead up to that. And then you were at that point, you're putting a bubble around all of it. Like, there's already enough rules. There's already enough penalties. There's already enough things that stop action. The last thing they want to do is take the excitement out of the redheaded stepchild of the sports world. Like, it's just kind of, hey, shoot yourself in the foot then. So no, I don't think they'll take it out, especially because it's dissipated in numbers by 500% over the last 20 years. So if they were going to do it, you're better, you're a little late to the party. This should have been done, when there was 1,500 fights a year, which that's crazy. Like, just think about that number. There's 82 games. Like,
that's crazy.
Obvious, 82 games per, team, but it's like, that's crazy. I think it was 0.55 fights per game. Now it's 0.18 or something like that. It's something real kind of crazy low, but yeah, no, they never will. And if they do, they're going to lose the very small market that they have now from a viewership standpoint. I mean, by comparison to the other sports, well, you said they have 55 million. Yeah, they do. But that's over the year. Like, that's right. How many people watch Red Zone for football every Sunday? Yeah. Let's talk about numbers then. That's what I thought. So it's not going to go, and it better not go away, because that's some of the stuff that keeps those rivalries really. It keeps them heated. It keeps it. I don't know. I don't know if you're a baseball fan, but they call a home run a rally killer. Okay, because it just stops the action. Like, that stops that flow of base runners. I'm not saying fighting keeps the action going, but you talk about an interjection of energy. It's like taking a 5-hour energy right there. There you go. Everyone's fired up. The whole arena's going nuts. Serves its purpose on a multitude of planes. So
yeah, this is an interesting one too, because as you were talking, I was thinking about this, and I was watching an interview with Stephen Jackson talking about it, NBA star, former. And I don't know if you ever heard of Malice in the Palace. I actually just heard about it like last month. The Malice in the Palace was like 20 years ago, maybe a little. 15.
Like, I've heard the name, but I can't put my finger on it. What was it?
So Malice in the Palace was it was Meta World Peace, who's
Oh God.
him, Stephen Jackson. At the time, what team was this? This was, I'll tell you right now, it was the Detroit Pistons playing against the Indiana Pacers.
Okay.
Now this
was this when our test went in the crowd like a goofball? Yeah. That was 20 years ago?
Yeah, 2004.
Jesus.
Yeah. I wasn't even 10 yet.
Oof.
But yeah, I just heard about it. I forgot how I came about it. But I was reading about it and I watched the actual footage from it.
Yeah.
And then I listened to Stephen Jackson talking about this. And I'm going into a little different direction. But he was actually open about talking about it. Yeah, he didn't support Artest's actions. But one of the things he was talking about was the silence from the NBA and the media because they demonized the players for doing what they did. But he was shedding a light, and Netflix did a special covering the backstory of this. The fans were the ones antagonizing the players, right? And that's how it all started. And the fans were the one throwing the drinks at the players and, doing all this stuff to provoke them. And this leads to a conversation where we see this now a lot of times. LeBron, not so much Stephen Curry, but Russell Westbrook, mostly Russell Westbrook is like the face of it, where they're known for going after fans because fans antagonize them. They really constantly trolling them, trying to mess them up. They're just trying to play the game. And, you got the fans always starting trouble. Do you think, especially in the NBA, because this is a mostly NBA thing, do you think there needs to be tighter restrictions or consequences for fans? Because it seems like people say, hey, you're Stephen Curry. You make, all this money. Why are you complaining about that fan? But that's not the issue. The issue is these fans know that they can continuously get away with heckling these players while they're at their job. You're at work and you're getting heckled, and you're ultimately still responsible when fans throw drinks at you, put their hands on you, and all that stuff. Do you think the NBA or just sports organizations in general need to do a better job protecting both the fans and the players from this type of behavior?
So heckling is fine. So I'm not a hoops fan at all, but I'm well aware of, heckling of fans. Heckling in the sense of verbal heckling, fine. Words, sticks and stones, yada, yada, yada. You get millions of dollars. Let it roll off your shoulders. You're putting hands on me? You're throwing drinks at me? What's your cursing policy here, real quick?
I have no objection. Just keep it a little light, but whatever.
All right. In this instance, I'm just going to use this. I wish a motherfucker would. That's when you get raw and tested. That's when you get choked up. You're putting hands. So let's take out the celebrity aspect. Let's take out the athlete aspect. Let's say me and you are hooping, right? Mm-hmm. And we have a peanut gallery, and I'm about, I'm at the top of the key, and some dude comes out and like hits me in the thigh. Do you not think at any point in time I'm not here? Hold the ball. I'm gonna go curb stomp this kid. That's no one in their right mind is gonna look twice at that and say they can't do that. Well, no, they do that because they're stupid. He shouldn't do that because he gets millions. He should be able to deal with that. What, like infringing on your human rights? That's cool because you have a big bank account. So my wife makes double the amount of money I do. So does that mean I should be able to go up and lay hands on her or infringe on her personal space? And no, not at all. Now, how can you police that? I mean, you can have the proverbial no-fly list in regards to getting tickets, but I feel like it's a much easier thing to get around because there's not like TSA there.
Right.
You can't bolster security and make it feel like it's a prison. So you would just hope that people could learn to be people and realize it is a sport. This guy is just essentially going to work like you do. Now, mind you, he is much more skilled than you, much more athletic than you and able to make much more money than you. Yeah, whatever. That's 3 notches against your 0 notches. Fine, fair enough. But you would think as fans, and just the idiots and just the entitlement of fans too, because it's like, well, I paid money. I should be able to. No, you don't get to just do things because you paid money. Like, that's like me going to McDonald's, buying a sandwich, and going and pissing on the floor. Well, I paid for my sandwich. What crazy lunatic world are you living in that makes sense? And unfortunately, a lot of fans consider, well, I paid this much for a ticket, I should be able to interact. This is not a show. This is a sporting event. These large men are facing these large men. They are the only ones that are part of the show. You're in the audience. That's your role in this play. So I don't think that you can do a ton, because there's no happy medium, because people are ballsier and ballsier, and they just, you see it. And then when an athlete lashes out, everyone looks at the athlete like there's some kind of lunatic. It's like, no, they've had 3 pints of beer thrown at them. I'm like, how much are you supposed to deal with? Because your bank account's bigger? Come on, man.
Yeah. But and you know what? And a lot of people think like that, because, oh, yeah, you make all this money. Oh, you a big boy, you should take it. No, that's not how life works, And for sidebar, I got to say, too, I agree with the heckling. That's part of life. Comedians, actors, we all deal with it. Now, I went to City Field a couple months ago for my buddy's grandfather's birthday. Let me tell you something. The prices are egregious. I wouldn't even throw the ketchup off the hot dog at somebody. I don't know how people spend all this money on food and drinks just to throw it at a player. First of all, the fact that, let me just jump back to Stephen Jackson for a second, because he was talking about this. In the contracts, the reason why, first of all, that whole thing was misconstrued. Everybody made the players seem like villains, criminals, and thugs. But he was saying that, in a lot of their contracts, you can't, it's legal. You can't touch any of the fans. But my question is, it's one thing to have a hot temper.
Where's the fan contract?
And that's the thing. And he shed light on Artest, because I know Ron, he's a little, we all know he used to play very aggressively, right? But when I heard the backstory of why he went to go lay on the table, that was something that his therapist told him to calm himself down. And then you have a fan throw something at him. Why, it's like, at the end of the day, I think I heard this before. Someone said, fans have became entitled, right? And I think that's what the thing is. A lot of people chasing clout, because think about it. You trying to become the next influencer on Instagram.
Everything's on the YouTube. Everything. That's a great point, my dude. Great point.
How many people are like? I know this one content creator. He went viral. What did he was? Oh, he went viral for doing like comedy skits during games. So one NBA game, he was giving someone a haircut, like a barber. He was doing that in the stand, and he actually got featured on many channels. And he got, I think right now he's closing in on 1 million Instagram followers and YouTube.
That's weird.
People are doing this stuff, right? And that's the problem. A lot of people realizing, I use Instagram. I see a lot of these Instagram pages that are dedicated to sports highlights and stuff. These are very big channels. So to get featured on them, you got to go viral, or they have to find you some way that makes you say, I want to share. So a lot of people are thinking, hey, if I provoke Stephen Curry, that's an automatic guarantee someone's going to pick this up. So many people are looking at it as an opportunity for a cash grab, a lawsuit, get popular on social media, but there's no protection, right? So these fans can do that. Yeah, maybe if it's very egregious, they might get banned. But until that happens, a lot of them are going to keep doing it. All right, I'll just go to the next game. I'll do it again. And I'll keep doing it again. And it's funny because I have heard of some athletes, becoming friends with hecklers or people of that nature, to find out, I guess they understood or they talked behind the scenes of what was going on. But it's like a lot of these players don't care about that. They don't care that you just lost your daughter. You're throwing a soda at me. I don't know you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I think so many people are, just entitled now. And I think social media has ruined that. Do you agree?
Oh, God bless America. The internet's the worst place in the world. Yeah. It's ruined so many things. And that's absolutely right. Because you think about it, because people are 0 to 60. There is no gray area anymore. And I feel like I'm on my soapbox, like, get off my lawn, but these damn kids, it's really, this is literally what it is. Like, you can't, it's different. We're like, hey, Braun, you suck. That escalates like, Braun, your mother's a whore. What? Okay. Or, hey, Braun, look fast. You get a rock thrown at your head. It's like there is no progression. It is now like I'm going to set fire to him because that'll get me on that'll get me my recognition. And it's like, yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right, but the moral implications, oh, you don't know what morals are. It's okay, don't worry about it. You weren't raised right. It's a problem. It's a problem because the people that watch it are just as bad because they're buying into the negative behavior. Like,
Right.
those people also can't be the people complaining about it because then you share it. It's like, God, this is crazy. Well, you're still giving this person recognition. You're getting those views that they so badly want. So it's different. You're not raising awareness. You're giving them what they want unintentionally.
Right.
So it is bad, man. It is bad. And I mentioned it. What about fans' contracts? What about that? Fans should have a contract. And I'm pretty sure there are some like bylaws that, hey, don't touch the people. It's like when you go to the zoo, don't feed the animals. Yeah. When you go to an athlete place, don't touch the athletes. I don't understand it. And it's the entitlement that you said. And I can't rationalize that because I'm not that person. So I can't wrap my head around the ideology of going to a place, heckling, having fun, giving them the business and parlaying that into me chucking a $29 drink at someone on the bench because they were there.
Right.
Beyond me, dude. Beyond me.
It's beyond me too. And speaking of beyond me, I wanna talk about something that has been trending. I actually was just looking about it because I wasn't even gonna talk about this, but it's blowing up Twitter.
Okay.
Everybody's talking about it. So let me get his name right. Travis Kelce of the NFL.
Oh, for Christ's sake.
You heard about him and Taylor Swift, right?
Yep.
Now, I'm not a huge Taylor person. I don't hate her. I wish her all the success.
If she caught on fire today, I'd be fine with it.
Come on, man. You going the Swifties, man, they're gonna come for you.
My wife's a Swiftie, and if she catches on fire too, I don't care either.
Uh-oh. She gonna get a divorce lawyer, man. Don't play, man.
They will never find her body. Don't play with me.
Now the FBI is involved too. Oh my God. Rich,
look, I gotta get clout too, right?
Fair enough. Hey man, it's all about the clickbait. hey. But you're not the only one looking for clickbait, right? Because Travis. I say Kelvin. I'm an idiot. Travis has came out against the NFL and he said, "Hey, y'all overdoing it with this Taylor Swift stuff, right?"
Yes.
I don't really watch NFL. That's not my sport. But I have noticed that they've been promoting a lot of Taylor Swift stuff over the last week or so. I think in their Instagram bio they have something about Taylor Swift. Now, there's two sides to this, right? Because there's some people who are saying, hey, smart promotion. Taylor Swift is a big artist. You get some of her fan base involved. Hey, it's good engagement. We live in that era, right?
Right.
But then there's some people like, yo, she's not even a part of the sport. She has nothing to do with the sport. This is not even his wife or anything. It's not anything serious. why you got using a singer who's don't even talk or is affiliated with the sport to promote the sport?
I'm looking forward to answering this question.
Let's go.
Okay.
Let's see his opinion.
So I have two sides of my brain. I have my business brain and my personal brain. My business brain, yeah, this is pretty smart, and I feel like they have probably been yapping for a while now. But you think about, she just came off this amazingly large summer tour, which my wife went to, and now they're putting her tour in theaters, which is another money grab. She is what's hot right now. It is what it is. And Kelsey, he is part of the Super Bowl winning Kansas City Chiefs and probably the GOAT in regards to tight ends. So you have these two. I don't know what her personality is other than annoying. She's like 6 foot. She's 6 foot and just God, just please go somewhere else. He has a successful podcast with his brother. Now that has blown up crazily now because of this. So from a business standpoint, yeah, it gets the NFL a lot more recognition. And I hate to say this, but girls, send me your hate mail and your panties. I don't care. This has put a lot more eyes on the NFL from women. And now they're trying to, there even was a TikTok trend with the whole, hey, Taylor put Kelsey on the map, and it's like, ha ha ha, whatever, all that silly stuff. But you have two big names that are banging their naked parts together and on TV, and she's like, "Ooh, football! What inning is it?" God bless America. Okay, and you now have all these other females and other folks that aren't really football fans. Maybe they're Swift fans, whatever, paying more attention. So the NFL is like, hold my beer. Watch this. We're going to recognize her as much as we can, because now they showed something. There were New York Jets tickets for about $60. Those then blew up to $800. And the Jets are god awful. So everyone is eating. So business wise, it's genius. From an NFL kind of standpoint, the same week that happened, the Miami Dolphins beat Denver 70-20. 70-20. You're not a football fan, like you said. Wrap your head around that.
That's great. That's insane.
That is 10 touchdowns. They almost had the record for the highest points total ever. That got recognition, but the headline was Taylor Swift and in the press box for Travis Kelsey, like we're supposed to care. And that is what the NFL, they realize 70-20. Yeah, that may bring more people in just from a, oh, let's go watch the bearded lady. You know what I mean? But you have somebody like there that is now bringing money in for every market that they're playing. It makes sense. But personally, dude, find something to do. Like, nobody cares. You're going to write a stupid song about how he broke your heart and teabagged you, and it's all going to be done in 4 months, and nobody's going to care. But look, I don't know. It gets annoying because I did see I did comment on somebody on Twitter, and it's just because she irritated me. She said something about, like, I could be persuaded to agree with this. And I responded, like, the fact that you think this broad cares about you at all and your opinion about who she's with is amazing to me. Yeah. Like the entitled view of you being in her inner circle is, she has like a cult like a literal cult following. It's unnerving. Like, she very well could be the Antichrist. I don't know. We'll see. But I get the cross promotion. I think it makes a lot of sense because she's making a lot of money. A lot of eyes are on her. A lot of girls do not watch football compared to the amount of guys that do. I'm not saying that's shifting, but comparatively how many more eyes are on the NFL now, or specifically on whoever the Chiefs are playing, because they have a chance to see her, which once again, I don't understand it. But yeah, that's my thoughts on it. It's super annoying that it dominated the headlines for as long as it did, but I'm not surprised.
I mean, I said earlier, we're living in an era where you're trying to go viral, clickbait,
Yep.
you're trying to get the views. So from a, like you said, business standpoint, I understand it. I prefer seeing, well, not that I prefer, but I would much rather individual like Travis capitalize on it than, because you don't see the NBA, promoting Jay-Z to get, they don't do that. You don't see hockey promoting, Lil Durk to get, like, that's not what they're about. And I think I understand Taylor Swift. We're not fans of her. She has her own fans. And like I said, all by all means, she can do whatever she wants. But I do think it is a little overblown because, like you said, 70 to, I think you said 18, right? I didn't even hear about
20,
that. Yeah. I didn't even hear. I didn't even get a whiff of that. All I've been hearing about is Taylor Swift and Travis. And I think for some people too, like Travis, I think it's when you're playing a sport like this, you want the recognition to be on that sport. Some people, depending on who they are, probably want other people to be, oh yeah, he's dating Taylor Swift, oh he's doing this, or they want people in their personal life. But not everybody wants to do that. And especially when it comes to your job, your profession, you don't want the highlight. If your team just won the Super Bowl, oh, he's sleeping with Taylor Swift. Nobody wants to hear that. You're taking the credit away from the athletes, the people involved in the sport. And this is no way, shape, or form just a dig at. I'm not even digging at Taylor Swift. It's just more so.
I am.
I get why they did it, but again, you don't really see other sports doing this. I will say though, boxing is egregious for doing stuff like this, in the sense that they will bring out rap artists to mime their music for what I don't know, but they will do that, especially with trending artists. But yeah, that what NFL did. Look, I get it. Everybody's trying to get the new, get the headlines, get the fans. I get it. Business, get it. But enough is enough. Let's get back to the sport. Not that I really watch football, so I don't care. But it's like, let's go. Taylor Swift got her own thing. Travis is your athlete. Focus on him and the other athletes and go about.
Give it a month, nobody will care. That's generally how these things work. I mean, it's because even week 2, it's like it's not dominating stuff anymore. Oh, she's back. Okay, back to the game. It's. It was notify me when Jesus Christ shows up in the stands, and I'll pay attention.
Oh, the lottery comes in my bank account. How about that?
Right. Other than that, I'm all set, man. I don't care who they're banging. It's musical chairs anyway. Let's be honest.
Now, promotion. We just been talking about the NFL and promotion. This goes to another topic I want to talk about.
Okay.
So I'm a big combat sports fan. I love UFC. I watch it every Saturday. I don't care if I gotta miss work. I will watch it. Even my mom's funeral. No, I'll go there. But I watch it religiously. And lately there's been a lot of debate. Conor McGregor, John Jones, the big names in the industry. This not so much about John Jones, but Conor McGregor has created that trend because he's the icon of MMA. He can lose 5 fights in a row and still, well, not that he has, but he can lose 5 fights in a row and still fight for a title shot. He can lose 10 times and still main event a pay-per-view. And he could still make more money than anybody in the promotion, right? And lately, what's been happening, the main reason why this is really blowing up, Colby Covington, UFC welterweight, he's fighting Leon Edwards for the UFC welterweight championship in December. And a lot of people are supporting it, but there are a lot of people, media and other fighters, fans that don't like it. Now, Colby Covington, in a metric standpoint, popularity standpoint, is way above Bilal Muhammad, who many people view as the rightful person to be fighting for the title next, right? Because he's been a little more active. He's been out for Colby Covington's been out for legal reasons, but Bilal's been fighting. I think he's on a 12-fight win streak or 8-fight win streak. a lot of people say, hey, he deserves this chance more than Kobe, who hasn't fought since last year. But then from a UFC standpoint, from many fans' standpoint, hey, I don't want to watch Bilal. Who is Bilal? I don't care about his interviews. Kobe Covington is a much bigger draw. I would much rather watch Kobe Covington interviews than a Bilal Muhammad fight, right? And it goes to that point of we're seeing this now. And the UFC fighter Joe Pyfer was talking about this yesterday for a media coverage for this Saturday's fight, where he was saying, "Hey, look, the sport is not about domination anymore. 10 years ago, yeah, you had to be on the John Jones run to fight for the title, to main event pay-per-views. Now it's about the loudest personality. Who's going to bring more eyeballs? Who's going to put those butts in seats? Now, in that aspect, I want to ask you this. We have seen MMA, celebrity boxing. We're seeing the Jake Pauls, the Logan Pauls of the world dominating in terms of their fights. They're getting more coverage and pay than actual boxers are, right? Some people say, oh, they talk too much. Some people say, well, hey, they bring the presence, they bring the audience. Do you think that combat sports, outside of Jake Paul and Logan, do you think combat sports is changing? Do you think it is more about personality than it is about, all right, I'm winning 20 fights, I'm undefeated? Do you think it has shift to more of an entertainment sport than it is about the sport?
Yeah, it's kind of why I stopped watching. I haven't watched UFC in like 10 years. I used to dig it, man. Like when Rampage was out there just acting a fool, just wrecking folks, just like, and then anything that Josh Koscheck was involved with where he got hurt, I was like, thank you, because I hate this guy. It's now, and it's a measuring contest. Who can literally yell the loudest, and that's what people need for whatever. That's what draws them in now. I think the athleticism and the gladiatorial part of it is inconsequential. Like, yeah, I mean, there are the people that are like, oh man, yeah, like the enthusiasts of it. But I think the general public now that are fans like the drama of it. They like the soap opera the male soap opera, I guess just storylines play out. And it's sad because you really do think about it. These guys are like insanely athletic. Like just the things that they can do and just the maneuverability of their bodies and their joints and their limbs, it's bonkers. But it's all about the pre-fight stuff. It's all about the weigh-in. It's all about all the mess before that happens and the storylines of where they came. Like it, I don't watch wrestling, but it feels like it's that stuff. Like it feels like it's almost like a real version of that stuff. And right. It's not interesting to me. Now, I know I'm in the minority for it, but yeah, it's really whose storyline is going to be better, the guy that's won 10 rounds or 10 fights in a row, or the guy that is out here, poking fun at every opponent, saying this, that on and the other on social media, causing a ruckus. People are going to watch that more. It's just right. It is what it is. We're a stupid society now. We have regressed. I hate to say that, but we've regressed.
You know what the crazy part is, and it's ironic you say that, right? Because there was a MMA personality did a poll about was debating a fan about this, where they were saying, hey, back to Bilal. Bilal deserves this fight more than Kobe Covington, right? They said, oh, you think so? Are you a fan of Bilal? No, I think his fights are boring. He's just, he deserves it more. But would you prefer to watch him or Kobe Covington? Who do you? Oh yeah, Kobe Covington is the biggest star. You just proved the point. Then that's why he's getting it. At the end of the day, look, and I say this all the time. we're living in an era now where talent gets you only so far, especially when you're talking about being on national TV, right? There's certain people who get away with their talent and they're able to sell out. For instance, UFC, boxing, I'm going to leave alone for a second. UFC, Justin Gaethje comes to mind, right? One of those guys, he may not be Conor McGregor personality-wise, but man, I will tell you, everybody and their grandmother will watch him fight. I watch all his fights. I will rewatch him every day.
I got a perfect example for you. Perfect example.
Yeah, I'll let you go in a second. But yeah, like, you know, this people, Justin Gaethje, Charles Oliveira, Sugar Sean O'Malley. There's a lot of people in the industry right now who may not be Conor McGregor personality wise. Some are trying to copy him, but they aren't very entertaining, right? And this is another aspect too. Yeah, you might have the Kobe Covingtons who are loud personalities who are winning, but then you'll also have people who are fighting style is so damn good that the UFC is like, hey, we need to put these people in the pay-per-view. And just for context, Bilal Muhammad, yes, he's on a win streak. He's winning. But his style isn't exactly one that's going to win him fight of the night, fight of the year, best fight of the card. He fights to win. And I get, look, I understand, you know, especially when you're fighting for a win bonus or fighting for half your money. I get it. You want to win. But in the terms of business and in terms of sports entertainment, because it's entertainment, if you don't cut promos, if you don't promote yourself, if you don't set the world on fire, if you don't use those interviews to, you know, put yourself out there, nobody's going to come calling for you. I remember my buddy's dad said this one time. He said Netflix isn't going to come knocking at the door for you. You got to go to Netflix and knock on their door. That's how it works. So for me, I look at some of these fighters when they do press conferences, and you know, you have a massive audience right in front of you. All you got to do is just use it. Hey, how's your fight? I'm just mocking a reporter. Hey, you know, I heard that your fight camp went well. What do you see about your opponent and stuff like that? What do you think is going to happen on Saturday? Right? I see this time and time again. Hey, yeah, fight camp went well. You know, yeah, I worked on the boxing, and you know, the jiu-jitsu's coming along. I think I can do great on Saturday. But yeah, I'm just looking forward to Saturday night. Who in their right mind is tuning in to see something like that? You know what I'm saying? And that's the part that I'm talking about. People need to realize this is sports entertainment. It's not just a sport. So yes, when you do these press conferences, yeah, people might find me annoying. I'm sure there's somebody who finds me annoying, right? But at the end of the day, I would much rather somebody find me annoying, but I have more people saying like, yeah, I love this guy. I need to watch him. I need to listen to him every time he comes around, right? And that's what I'm talking about, because there's some fighters who just they want Conor McGregor paydays. They want to be main events. They want to, you know, be stars and have their own poster. But again, when it comes to these interviews, you're giving people nothing. Chael Sonnen is one of the, outside of Conor, I would put Chael Sonnen above Conor in terms of, Conor is more of a megastar, but Chael Sonnen was the prime example of a guy who used his words to get him every opportunity. That dude, he was a good fighter. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he was trash. He was a little one-dimensional. He was a wrestler. But when he did promos, when he did interviews, even when he was an analyst before his fight, people watched everything and ate it up. Every time he opened his mouth, articles were coming out already. That's how popular he became. And he was fighting Anderson Silva when some people say, oh, why is he in that ring with him? He don't deserve to be in the octagon with him. You know?
Real quick, my example actually was Anderson Silva, because I'm like, he was a perfect example of like, he just the silly things he did in the ring, just sitting there, hands behind his back, just dodging, just doing that silliness, and it's like, oh my, like the skill, and it wasn't like the verbal charisma, but it was like, you can't hit me. Why? Because I'm better than you. Did you say that? No, I didn't have to. I just did some silly things and made you look like you're an amateur. I always thought that was funny. When you're talking about yippity yappy, but actually following it up, I just think of the Diaz boys.
Exactly. And the crazy part is about Diaz, right? Because some people say, "Oh, Diaz, he loses a lot." Well,
Check his
that's
bank
not
account though.
exactly, and that's it. I try to tell people this all the time, even outside of sport. If you want to do a career or sport that involves the public, if you want money, if you want the fame, if you want the glory, you want the championship opportunity, you want the main event opportunity, you need to put yourself in a position to do it. Colby Covington, one of the reasons why he became as brass as he was a couple years ago, when he first joined the UFC, he was winning. He's a D1 wrestler, won a couple championships, right? He was winning fights, but the UFC won. This was in Brazil. I think a couple fights in, they was like, "Hey, I think we're gonna cut you after this fight." Before he was fighting, so we're gonna cut you. You're just not selling. You're winning, yeah, but nobody wants to see. Nobody's paying to see you. So we're gonna cut you. So he made that choice when he went out to Brazil for that fight. After that fight, he cut the promo that saved his job and it created him a lane of opportunity. Now he went from being on the unemployment line to main event against Kamaru Usman, fighting for the title, making money that he never saw that was coming. He thought it was going to come in. That's what it's all about. Now, you don't have to go in that route where you calling everybody and their grandmother out.
Right.
You don't have to be a Conor McGregor who, no holds barred, talking about people's religion and all that stuff. You don't have to do that.
Yeah.
You can be a Nate Diaz who don't give a crap. Everybody just loves him because he don't care. That's his life. And no matter what he does, he's very entertaining at what he does. And that's what is important. It's about branding and personality. And so many fighters I hear, because fighter pay, it was one thing I want to talk about, but I've talked about it a lot on here. If you want to touch on it, we can. But again,
I don't have a ton of insight on it because I don't know the ins and outs of the financial part of it. I mean, but I'm more than willing to chime in with whatever I can.
Yeah, the fighter pay. Well, the fighter pay thing is a lot more. It's the way UFC cuts the pay and all that stuff. We get into all of that. Like I said, I've talked about that a couple times already. But it's more so. Okay, when you move away from the entry level contracts, right? Let's say you're making 100,000 per fight, right? That's what's in your contract. But you realize, hey, I want to make more money. 100 grand is nothing to sneeze at. But I deserve more. I deserve more money, right? But every time you sit in front of a microphone, every time you fight, people, when is this over? Oh my God, get this man out of here. At some point, you're not going to get that money you want, right? So what do? How do you go about it? Well, you use those interviews wisely. And shout out to Chael Sonnen because he has a YouTube channel. He does a lot of appearances on other platforms. And he tries to educate fighters. He'll call them out specifically. Hey, Cyril Gahn, great fighter, but your personality is like watching paint dry. If you want to make money, you have to talk trash a little bit. Show somebody some of that, that flavor. You know what I'm saying? And
it's funny. Like, think of like a Chuck Liddell. He would not make it now.
No,
he would be just like, who are you? But he's probably one of the best. He's probably one of the GOATs. But it's like your personality is similar to like a story of I don't know. You have the personality of a light bulb. So we're all set.
Yeah, I mean, I always jokingly say, "I with the old in with the new."
Yeah.
But times has changed. The days of just being, having a signature mohawk are gone. You need more than just fighting skills. Now, like I said, if you're certain people like Mike Tyson, just to get who people wanted to see regardless of what he didn't have to say nothing.
Right.
But and it goes back to another thing too. I was watching an interview this morning. Jaquan Buckley, UFC guy, but he did an interview. He was talking about this. He was like, "Look, one of the problems I have with my opponents is they don't give me anything to promote the fight because there's a fight this Saturday, and I can guarantee you, most people, I only know because I've been watching interviews since last night. Most people can't tell you anything about the card besides the main event, right? And he was saying that, look, every time I get an opponent, I try to promote the fight months in the weeks in advance, because usually you don't have months unless it's a main big card. But he was like, yeah, I've been trying to promote this fight. This guy won't give me nothing. He won't say nothing to me. He won't give me a sound bite. He won't give me nothing. He's one of those guys who just shows up, fights, and goes home. And there's nothing wrong with that. But how are you supposed to make money? How are you supposed to get these eyeballs if nobody's willing to promote the fight? Yeah, there's going to be a core audience there because people, like he said, there's going to be people to watch because it's just the UFC, just like NBA and any other sport. Now, the only difference is with those, because some people say you don't need a trash talk to be successful. Well, Steph Curry doesn't, because basketball is not determined on him trash talking. It's about his performance on the court. That's how he gets his money. Combat sports is not the same thing. Yeah, you could be fighting all you want and you can be winning, but if you're not entertaining, if you're not making people want to tune in to watch you talk or watch you fight, there's so many.
The point is to draw in more. Like you're gonna get your core audience, but the whole point is to conquer and divide. If you're not entertaining, you're not getting the filthy casuals to watch you. Then, like you said, you're gonna get the normal people. You're gonna get the people that are gonna watch that show regardless. There could be, a Lysol can versus a Pepsi bottle, and they will tune in and they'll put money down on it. You want those filthy casuals, those are the people that fill your checks. Those are the people that will get you that next tier of money that you're looking for. Those viewership numbers, those gate numbers, that's what's gonna fill your bank account. But some people aren't built that way though either. I mean,
and out of respect, like I said, it's not in any way, shape, or form to conduct, talk down on people who don't. Not everybody's going to be like me,
right.
Not I get that. But at the end of the day, look, when you're in the line of work where, pay is an issue for you, this is not a corporate job. You know what I'm saying? This is a job that is sports entertainment. That's why people like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Stone Cold, even 40 years from now, these people still going to talk about them because their personality was way much bigger than their
transcended the sport.
Right. Conor McGregor, like I said, a lot of people talk about Conor all this. Oh, he don't deserve nothing. But of course he deserves it because people tune in. He don't need to fight for people to even watch his interviews.
Right.
So, and this goes well outside of just sports. But I tell this to other actors and stuff like that too, where it's like, if there's so many talented people who've people never seen before, never heard of. I'm sure there's actors that can outact Denzel Washington himself, but you'll never hear from him. Well, it's a bit of a stretch. But
I was gonna say, like Denzel, though. Come on,
it's a bit of a stretch. But like I said, you'd be surprised how many talented people out there that people don't know about. Why? They don't promote themselves, or outside of other things they can't control.
Talk about the podcast thing, like just the podcast thing in itself.
Yeah. Oh yeah. A lot of people.
It's a perfect example.
That's a good point. Look at him correcting the host. You believe that? But yeah, like podcasting, right? A lot of people, they don't have a branding. They talk about everything. Again, nobody wants to hear on a Tuesday night stuck in traffic that you had a Pop-Tart with your son on Sunday. Nobody cares. Nobody want to listen to that. Again, I'm not here to talk down on anybody because I understand that everybody's gonna be loud and boisterous. Not everybody.
No, listen. If you're in the podcast game and you don't know how to talk, you need to go find something to do like that. You're in the wrong game. But
yeah, there's room out there for everybody because I know there are a lot of people who may not like this style of podcast. Some people might want a little more conservatory, quiet. Thing. And I get that. But again, it's about personality. And if you want more visibility, fans, you want more people to check it out, you need to get people invested in hearing from you. A lot of people don't get that. And I think, again,
that's why I send nude pics.
OnlyFans. That's right. Feet. Yeah. I thought you was doing feet pics.
I mean, I had to look. The tax bracket situation is real. So we had had to do a few other things.
Let me tell you something. I got my page. Taxes are. Don't even give me stuff. I want the IRS coming to audit me, so I ain't saying nothing.
Yeah, don't even. Nah, yeah, leave him be.
Yeah, but yeah, it's a topic that I take passion about because
I can tell, man. I can tell.
But it's because it's something that outside of just UFC, people ask me all the time about this. Oh, I want to do this, or I want to achieve this. So you got to put yourself out there. You think I got this far in the podcast just because I was just chilling, waiting for somebody to, hey, Percy, I want to be. No, I went out there and I got it myself. And we're seeing this now, and we're seeing a lot more like MMA journalists. A lot of them don't work for big corporations now anymore. They have their own brand and identity, and they're getting interviews for Steph Curry by themselves. I'm sure they might have a team with them, but
Right.
they're not part of ESPN. Well, that's a lie because I'm pretty sure Steph Curry ain't answering anybody outside of the major ones. But
I mean, your point's still valid. I get what you're saying.
Yeah. Like there's people. I know a guy on YouTube with like 2K subscribers who interviews Conor McGregor all the time. That goes to show to you if you have a branding and you know what you're doing and you know how to go about it, money is to be made. But don't sit back and be quiet. The quietest room in the voice the quietest voice in the room doesn't get heard. And do with that as you will, people. Whatever you do, Do you agree?
That's
with
a good
that,
life. No, it's a good life lesson. I mean, I not to kind of tout my own kind of deal up here, but
here comes the self-love. Oh Lord! No.
Look, I gotta self-promote. You shut your mouth. I'm the host now.
Like The Rock. No, you're rolling. Shut your mouth.
No, I mean, just from a self-evaluation standpoint, I mean, no one knew who I was. No one knew who my co-host was. We started reaching out to people and making more connections and making more people aware of us and just being loud about it.
Man.
No one's going to know what you do, no matter what your skill set is, if you don't tell people. Mm-hmm. They're not just going to find you. There are millions of options of everything and anything out there that you can think of. It's hard enough to come up with an original idea and make yourself stand out in that sense. Even you could have the most original, outstanding idea possible, but if nobody knows you're doing it, what are you doing it for? I mean, not that has to be like the recognition, but you then also can't complain that no one is watching my stuff if you don't tell people that it's there.
Right.
So I think that translates into the combat sports thing, type of thing, because I think you have to be loud because we as a people have, I hate to say it, we've kind of regressed. Like, I don't know. Maybe some people agree that that we regressed or not, but you take the athleticism out of it. It's really, like you said, talent has something to do with it, but like who's really making the most noise? That's who's getting the title shots. That's who's filling that gate. That's who's filling that arena. They want that personality, and I understand it. I get it, but I don't necessarily agree with that it should be that way, because there are talented fighters and there are more talented people underneath those loud voices that are either socially awkward or socially inept or don't have that skill set, but they're going to sit here and they will throw hands with anybody and it's game over for whoever they're facing, but they're not going to get the light of day until something happens in their universe that makes the world pay attention to them, because they're not knocking on the doors. They're waiting for their door to be knocked.
Just to sum this up, I'll share this because I'm one of those. I did an interview with Bold Journey magazines, actually came out, but I said this. I wasn't always who I am today. Took me until about, I would say, 3 years ago to be.
You're actually a 20-year-old white lady. Yeah.
Yeah, named Karen.
I knew it. It was that or Sally. I wasn't sure which one.
Nah, Sally. Nah, that's too country for me.
Okay.
But yeah, it's one of those things where it took me a long time to get to where I am now, right? And even now, I'm still improving. And I've realized, especially when it comes to promotion, right? I uploaded a reel on Instagram last week, and Kevin Rudolph uh, left a comment on it.
Who is
And
that? I know that name. I can't
you know that song "I Made It" with Lil Wayne and Birdman, Cash Money.
Is this old?
I Made It came out 10 years ago. Let me see. I was just bumping it before. Let me see. Kevin Rudolph. Oh yeah, 2012. He made the song. What's the other popular one? Let me see. Oh, Let It Rock. But yeah, he's a singer, rapper,
right.
musician. But yeah, he left a comment and stuff on it. And someone hit me up and was like, "Oh, how did you get that?" And I told him, it's like, look, nothing comes easy. You got to put yourself out there. For me, when I first started Instagram, I was just putting all types of stuff out there. And then I realized people aren't really tuning on this. I have to start, trying new things. One thing I tried, it was working, then it didn't. All right, let me try something else. That was working for a little bit. Now nobody really can that. Now I found something that I actually enjoy and people actually tuning into. Now I have brands liking my stuff. Now I have, if I tag certain artists, they'll respond. And I tell people it's about personality. When I'm referring to is fitness videos. Outside of actor stuff or podcasts, I'll upload once in a while. But my fitness, it's not traditional ones that if you go on Instagram and you look at fitness, it's not the usual ones where someone's doing bicep curl. No, I have personality. I have my own way of doing intros and stuff like that. So it sets me apart from everybody else. And that sometimes that's what it takes. Now, some people may not like it. Some people say, "Oh, just get straight to the workout." But again,
I'm not for you, then go find somebody else.
Yeah, and that's what it's about, because when you're in a market where everybody's trying to get a bite at the apple, how do you get the bite at the apple? You can't be like everybody else. So that's why, for me, I try to advocate for anybody. Put yourself out there, because at the end of the day, yeah, it may not be natural for you. It wasn't natural for me at first. I'm still an introvert at heart. When I'm not in front of the camera or behind the mic, I like to be in the house and relax. I hate when people stare at me and TMZ want my picture. It's annoying sometimes. But like I said, put yourself out there. If you want money, if you want fame, if you want opportunity, you have to get yourself out there. Maybe on a reality TV show, because getting on Love and Hip Hop nowadays is like, signing a multi-million-dollar deal. So I'm gonna have to start doing that. Ridiculous.
No, I mean you're absolutely right.
Of course I'm right, Rich. Of course I'm right.
I will cut your hair, I swear to Christ. Keep playing with me. No, I mean, I don't care if you like it or not, or if you're good at it or not. I mean, if you are in any semblance of an entertainment industry or whatever you want to call it, you gotta have some charisma, man. Like, a little bit of charisma goes a long way. Like, let your personality shine.
That's right. Like, no, I'm not gonna. I was gonna make a joke. I'm not gonna do it. This podcast will be over if I said it. Rich, yeah. Let's just get past that.
Okay.
It's funny. I actually didn't realize this, but so one of the residents at this job I started working at, older guy, in his 80s. But he actually told me, like, he Googled me last week, and he listened to the podcast. I was like, wait, you're 83 years old, and you know about Google? But yeah, he was telling me that. And the reason, like, for me, I try to, have some dignity, because you never know who's listening. It could be Nike, it could be my grandmother. You never know. The FBI. That's why I said we'll talk about the money. Off. No, I'm kidding.
And the bodies.
Oh yeah. Oh, don't even get me started, man. Don't. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Let's wrap this up before we get ourselves in trouble. Rich, it's always good to have you on. It's always good to have fun. Like I said, you do have your own podcast, X's and O's of Life. But I'll let you take care of this? Where people can find you and check you out and hear more of that nasty mouth that we gotta wash out with a bar of soap, in the words of my mother.
I love when you talk dirty to me, baby. So, I'm on YouTube. I that's kind of where all of our stuff goes to. Just look up. I'll send you the link. I don't know the name of it. I call it Twitter. You guys can call it X. I don't care. That's the X's and O's of life. You'll see our little South Parkish little what would you call that? Little bobblehead avatar thing.
Yeah.
Same handle on Facebook, same handle on Instagram. So I'm pretty active on everything. So I'm always willing to talk and yap and ask questions and answer questions and show you nudes and my feets, and it's fine. But yeah, I just always appreciate getting a chance to hang out with you and talk, and hopefully this can be a very often thing we do, and we can share nudes.
Absolutely. What? Yeah,
you agreed to share nudes. That's weird.
Well, no, I was saying you're very active. You're picking up what I'm putting down. No.
Wow.
Oh my God. We're gonna get ourselves in trouble here. Who would have thought that you was a father? Who would have thought?
Dude, you know what's crazy? He turned 18 like a week ago. It's crazy. Like I legitimately have an adult at that. Well, yeah, I have an adult at the house.
It's funny. Yesterday I was coming back from working out, and the crossing guard, nice dude, he started a YouTube channel, but he was telling me, he said, "Hey man, my son just turned 18. No more child support." And he started.
Yeah. Now you have to pay for college.
Well, yeah, I don't know if that's in his plans, but yeah, it was just hilarious. I was like, this guy.
I will send you the links to my stuff though, because I'm very bad at like that self-promotion thing. So I'm like, dude, I don't pay attention to that. I always put it in the show notes. If you guys want to find it, cool. So I'll just send you the links. So don't pay attention to anything I've said in the last 2 minutes. It's fine.
Disregard, yeah, that's right. And it's funny because we just spent talking about self-promotion. You believe this guy? This guy? Oh my God.
Yeah. Well, believe me, I'm still doing. I still got a lot of work to do. What I want to do is I just want to build a website, but I need to get something other than a work PC to do it because it's all firewalled up, so I can't do anything with it.
Yeah, if you ever check them out, I did my whole website myself. I update them alone. I do everything myself. I mean, at some point, I'll probably hire some help. But as of right now, everything I'm doing myself.
Ditto.
But that's how you get to where you want to be.
It makes you appreciate it, man. It makes you appreciate it because I'm so proud of what I've done with this. And I mean, look, we made a great connection. I mean, who would have thought 6 months ago I'm getting asked to be on a podcast? What?
Yeah,
it's crazy to me.
Yeah, the government hit me up. It's like, hey, we need you to hook this brother up like SNAP food stamps.
Here's what I thought. I thought they had to like triangulate my so they had to make sure I was in one place for an hour, and then I'm gonna have Hank from Breaking Bad start knocking on the door.
Oh Lord! Oh, what a good show! Oh, I gotta watch that again. I've been watching Law and Order. I need to. But yeah. It's Rich. It's always exciting to have you on.
Thanks, man.
I'm just kidding. I'm ready to get the hell out of here. I'm ready to kick you off. No, I'm kidding.
Okay. I hate ending shows is terrible for me. It's so awkward and weird.
For me, it's not. You know what
really?
It is? Yeah.
Okay. What's your trick to it?
My trick is just, it's like when you have a party and it's going on a little too long. You just like, hey, everybody. Oh, you open the door. You don't gotta go home, but you can't stay here. That's kind of
you missed a real gangster move you could have done. You could have said, you know what my trick is, and it just ended it right there. That would have been beautiful.
Yeah, but I knew. See, people were suspecting that setup though. That's why I was like,
Okay.
And plus, I can't leave without always saying, a better hand is a helping hand. Now I can just cut. So I'll do that right now. All right.
All right.
We'll talk
Deuces.
later. All right.